Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another wonderful show, Let Us Connect. Here we'll be with you for the next hour, and we'll be having wonderful conversations and call-ins and learning a lot from our fabulous guest. And so I'm so glad to be back live. It was there for a while. We were off for several months, and now we've been back, and our everyone that's been watching, our viewers, are catching up with the fact that we're here and calling. And it is a live call-in show, so if you just give us about 10 minutes, instead of waiting a half an hour now, I like to take it a little earlier if you have questions that you'd like to call in, because it gives us great fodder for discussion. And so, anyway, thank you again for watching. And I just want to just acknowledge my crew, Daryl and Renato and Francine, and also our sponsors. And tonight our sponsor, what we're particularly emphasizing, is Subway sandwiches. And no, we don't have any sandwiches here, but it would be good to be able to crunch down on a sandwich. So anyway, I really appreciate you watching, and if you'd like to, the number's coming up on the screen that you can call in and ask a brief question about the subjects, particularly the subjects that we're going to be covering tonight and talking with you about. And if you have a brief question, our great guest will answer that for you. Okay, now, I don't know if I'm forgetting anything for some reason, but I want to just reintroduce our guest tonight. This is Darshini.
Hi,
in
Martha.
spirit.
That's right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
You're
Martha.
right here.
Yes,
You're in spirit, but
I'm
you're
trying
right
to
here.
stay in. Yes, I'll stay to have grounded in body, at least.
Yes, Darshini, and we're so glad that you're back, Darshini.
Thank
This
you,
is
Martha.
wonderful.
We haven't seen you for ages. And
Yeah,
it's just,
I know, and you're just so great, and I really
it's been
appreciate the little
sweet.
healing that you gave, it's good healing that you gave me. I was having a bit of a headache, because I can get those, My
That's
grandson
awful.
came in, and it just really, really helped. And I just want to say that I'm sure that you're probably using your healing
Yes.
also in your work.
Yes.
Is that right? And we'll
Actually,
talk a little
yes.
bit more about it. But since you did that, it came to me to
Yes, of
mention
course.
it.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it helps. I liked. We'll talk about it later about classes,
Sure.
but I really like putting the tools into the person's hand.
Ah.
You're not meant to control it, as you know. We're meant to
Yes.
share everything.
Yes,
So that's what all the class is about, is giving actual
Wonderful.
tools that you can use.
So that's good, and it's important to know, especially at this time, the world, that we can begin
Yes,
doing more,
you're right.
right?
Perfectly
We need
put.
to.
We need to start.
We need to start.
Yeah, the go button got pressed a few months
Yes,
ago.
it did.
It's
Oh,
about
wow.
time.
That's interesting. Maybe we'll talk about some of that.
Yeah, I know.
But let me say just a little bit more about you here, if I can, about Darshini. Okay. You're an international renowned claircognitive. Okay, now let's stop right there.
Okay.
Okay. What's a claircognitive? I'm just going to go with it. What's
Okay.
a claircognitive?
Now, I know it's a bit confusing to certain viewers, but basically a claircognitive is a medium communicates with people on the other side,
Okay.
all right, who are passed on.
Yes.
Okay, and these are physical people who are just passed on to their next life, or whatever you want to believe. I'll leave it there. The other thing is that a psychic, and I've got not exactly a beef about it, but from my personal view, I feel that a psychic sees the future. Okay,
Oh.
but anyway, that's up to each individuals. I don't.
Let me interrupt you. Your view is that the psychic can predict
Exactly,
the future?
correct.
Okay.
And they think everybody can, but not necessarily. Now, mediums will pick it up only via communicating with people on the other side, and then they're restricted to a certain extent.
Okay.
All right, so that's separate. Then there's a clairvoyant. A clairvoyant receives messages through via pictures or visions.
Yes.
A clairsentient picks up messages through feeling. I feel that you may have a headache here, or I feel that you could be, whatever, a person could be upset.
And you can't fool them. My daughter was just so clairsentient. She'd just come in the house and, what's going on here? What do I feel?
Yeah.
Mom? What this and that? And I'm like,
She's a powerful,
stop it.
but she's an audio, I feel, secondarily.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so clairaudio is obviously you hear it. but you
Yes.
don't hear it outside that somebody else is hearing it.
Right.
It's a kind of a second voice.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a definitely a different, how can I say this, a different way of language.
Yeah.
So it depends. And all of that, plus I get it in taste and smell as well.
See, that's
Those are
good.
the only two I hesitate with, because you have to, if you get a taste, which drives me nuts by the way, or a smell, which is really bad, not the smell, but really frustrating. Thought I put that in. No. It's weird. Yeah, exactly. No, it's really weird. But basically I have to wait and translate it into words. In other words, I have to get the meaning and then put it into words.
Okay, so if someone calls in and they ask you a question today, which I want to invite everyone to do, then what would you be using? Like
Everything.
Whatever comes to
Yes.
you? Or
Well, what happens is, now, if I may also add here, I don't go through what people might call angels. I call them spirit guides.
Okay.
I don't go through specific other people, not even if somebody's passed on. That's very, in those circumstances, I would literally use, I would talk to them directly and get the messages. But that's the only time I go through anybody to get a message. But other than that, I use dimensions. And people know. Okay.
We got to talk about.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. We're getting right into it.
No.
It's fascinating.
Well, basically,
Beautiful.
there are a certain body of people, put it that way,
Yes.
that only believe there are only 3-4 dimensions in existence. But there are far more. And that's what was part of my book, and we'll talk about it later, is about that we have not exactly an infinite amount of dimensions, but that's how I can actually reach out. And actually physicists have confirmed that we've got multiple dimensions. Yeah, so it has come out. I've always, that's how I've read.
Yeah.
So I go through dimensions and I can go backwards, I go to the present, what you're in, and go to the future.
You can go backwards.
Backwards,
What
yes.
does that do?
Okay, now in my readings, whenever I have somebody new that I'm reading, it won't be today because we're doing spot readings.
Right.
But if I'm doing a private reading, I literally will say, without exception, I will go backwards. And that serves 3 points.
Okay.
One, I've connected, which is very important.
Yes.
I know I've connected, which needless to say I will. But the thing is, more importantly, the times that I bring up are actually so significant to where you are now. In other words, you've either built a bridge that you need to go and address, otherwise that's why you're stuck, or you've got problems in your life,
Yes.
or you are actually hooking into behaviors, co-behaviors that are anchoring you back there and you don't even know it.
Wow.
So it is actually an extra gift that people are emailing me just as of yesterday even, and they didn't know that those were such significant dates. And you may not think it, but when they always say, oh no, nothing. 2 or 3 weeks later, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, this
They
happened.
know.
Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know one time when I was first doing my classes, we were doing psychometry.
Oh yeah.
So like you take a
That's a
ring.
fun
Isn't that fun?
class.
So it is a fun class. We
Yeah,
can talk
it
about
is.
that more. But I said, well, this has been on the water, and then, no. And then after, of course, I was brand new doing this, so I really wanted to be right, in front of everyone.
I know.
Because it's brand new. And it was like after everybody left, they came up and said, this went on a ship with me overseas.
Oh, wow.
And I said, well, I wish you'd thought of that earlier. No, just to confirm. I'm just joking.
No, but
But a
that's,
lot of times,
yes.
when a medium, right, or a psychic medium, claircognizant speaks to someone, it's not always, right there. It takes a little time for them to remember or pull up some of the information. When
Sometimes.
you're talking about the past.
Exactly, but
Yeah.
not with me for some reason.
Oh, okay.
But
good.
it
Good,
goes,
that's good.
it literally, as soon as I start the reading, I go, okay, what happened 22 years back?
Wow.
And of course, they're too busy trying to deduct their
Yeah,
age and say,
yeah.
22 years ago, how
Yeah.
old were you?
Yeah.
And they come in different ways. I can either name an age, like you were 17, and I won't tell them what happened because that's leading,
Oh, okay.
and leading them, and that's not right.
Right.
That's ethically not right.
No, and people can say that, stop that. too. You don't wanna
Exactly.
do that.
And I say, well, I'll tell you if you're really stuck, but If I'm not allowed to tell you, it's because it's pretty traumatic, and you know what I mean by traumatic.
Yes, I do.
So I don't want to be awakening things, but there are things that changed us so deeply at certain ages in our life. So that's why that happens.
Wow. And what do you do? We will get back to your
sorry.
biography. No, it's not you. It's fascinating what you're saying. What do you do, Darshini, if you see something coming up that isn't too wonderful for a person to hear?
Well, I had one for a 16-year-old boy,
Okay.
and it was the grandmother and the mother who came to me.
Oh.
And I can't obviously share what happened,
No.
but the boy, this is one of the harshest things. I'm known for my brutal honesty. Not meanness, but brutal honesty. It's a British thing, but quite frankly, I like being honest. And I had to say that, and it's happening this month. The reading was last November, and I said that if he doesn't shape up and stop the drugs, he won't be here. And of course that was horribly traumatic, and I hesitated, and I don't, but I was told I have to tell him. I told him too, by the way.
Did you? And how did he respond to that?
He was very, very quiet.
Really?
And you know, he's given an opportunity, but you know, with children, especially boys, no offense boys, guys, but they don't really mature until about 23, 24 cognitively on an emotional level. So they don't know they don't realize the full expansion and repercussions of their actions. Right. And that's the hardest thing.
Sowing your wild oats?
Oh yeah, and playing with drugs and God knows what else. So, you know, I can't tell them certain things, but yeah, if it means that, I will tell.
You will tell them.
If I've been given the go-ahead,
like
sometimes I get really horrible things and I'm not allowed to tell them.
No, I know.
There are certain things we can't, right?
We can't, and also they have an ability to change their
Exactly.
We don't always know if what's going to happen or not, but there's an ability to see that and make a change.
Perfect.
Not like, well, 5 years from now you're going to be in the morning.
Exactly.
You know, if you can change things and you set new causes and effect, right?
That's perfect. I really believe cause and effect. And I always say that we're not allowed to tell you what to do. We can guide you. Yes. But if you think I'm going to tell you what to do, you got the wrong person. Yeah. And we're not, this is your life, not ours. You live it.
Yeah. I've always found that some people want you to kind of tell them what to do.
Oh, yes.
But then when you do, it's like, don't you tell me what to do.
Exactly.
It's really funny, isn't it? So it's like...
Martha, you're so right.
Am I?
And it's not worth it.
Yeah,
and I don't... I never did.
No.
And it's their repercussions, and I make it clear.
Wouldn't you say it's more like a guidance that you offer?
We all do, I think, because
so.
It's a confirmation of things that we've told them.
Yes.
And especially in the future, once we tell them. Yeah. That's why I tape most of my readings, or suggest that they do.
That they do, so that they can,
listen to it.
Because like I said, like that lady that, oh no, this ring has never been, or whatever it was, you know, near the water, on a trip, you know, and then later it's, oh yeah.
See?
You know? It's sort of like coming from a dream sometimes, you know, it's like, you can't always bring everything up in a dream. It takes a little while.
Yeah, you need to dissect it and
All right, let's talk a little more about you. No, you're fine.
I have to say sorry, it's an English thing. It's annoying.
Were you born in England? Tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, and
actually,
how you got here and all that.
It's a bit of a long story, but quickly in a condensed Reader's Digest. I was born in Sri Lanka, and we actually took an overland trip. In 1961, we were 5 children, and the youngest was 3 months old. Okay. We covered 12 countries in 1961 in a little van, what we converted it from a van to a mobile home, we call a caravan, not even as big as this wall. And 3 adults and 5 children, and we nearly got killed 3 times. Going through Iran and the desert, and that's another story. But then,
that sounds like quite a story.
I was about 4 and a half, nearly 5, and lived there for 19, been here 32 years.
Been here 32 years.
And lived all over the States, so.
Wow.
Bit of a gypsy feet.
Well, how long have you been around in Southern California? We want to she's from Southern California. We'll finally get to more of this.
13 years, 13, 14 years, something like that.
How do you like it?
Oh, I love it.
Great.
But, you know, it's, what not to like, except a few shake,
Yes,
rattle, and
yes,
roll.
that can be a little bit disturbing.
Unnerving.
Oh, boy. Okay, let's talk just a little bit more, okay? So you use all of these gifts. You're clairvoyant, you're clairaudio, you're clairsentient, and smell and taste.
Yes, that's right, all of it.
What kind of I've often heard that, if you smell a certain, there's no one around, say with a pipe, but you smell a pipe.
Oh, yeah.
And you remember Grandpa used to smell a pipe? Could that be Grandpa coming through?
Well, yes, it definitely is, but the smell is a different when it's communication.
Okay.
But that is what I really strongly believe, that they are in the room. How many of my clients, especially I just taught Spiritual Abilities 101
Okay.
in Pasadena, and one person said, yes, there's a heavy perfume, and it was only associated with a grandmother. And I said, of course they're there.
Yeah.
And that's another comforting, a real consolation in a way to them.
Definitely, especially if it's something like that is specific.
Or
Like
a cigar.
I know one young woman that passed, and she loved lilies.
Oh, Lily of the
Yeah.
Valley.
Yeah. I should know flowers, but I don't. I'm supposed to.
Don't look at me.
Anyway, and so like the next day, her sister picked up that smell in the house when there was no other flowers around or outside. Just that strong scent.
And
Very
that's the
lovely.
way of their communicating, you know that.
Yes.
And it's, they may not be able to manifest, and some of them actually will start, one incident was the daughter was so distraught she wanted to commit suicide because she was so in mourning, and the mother, who had passed, started flinging spices out of the cabinets in the kitchen to tell her she's okay,
Wow,
it's
so
okay.
now to say that again, I want our viewers to listen to that.
No, but I mean, literally just throwing the spices out of the cabinets, but all kinds of things, either moving items in the house, or their favorite place is usually a kitchen or maybe a garden. You'll see either lights, orbs, things like that. They're around, just as a comfort.
How about dreams?
Dreams, I think, Martha, you hit it on right. People are control freaks. I don't care who you are. To a certain extent, we're control freaks.
Yes.
We've kind of bred that way. So basically, the people who have passed on actually become very communicative in dreams, because that's the only time we do not have control, or at least most of us try not to control. And with that, you'll see them and they say, well, I had a dream about them, but they were trying to give me a message. Well, of course they were trying to give a message. They were there. And that is the easiest way for them to, not exactly transmute, but to really communicate with you and give you messages. So I always say, please, if you're going to, if you get vivid dreams, and it's much more than that for spiritual abilities, but basically beside your bed have a notepad and pen, because if you're not trained to remember your dreams, for the first 3 seconds you'll remember everything. But after that you'll go.
Right, it's gone. That's good to note that down, because you're right, it just goes away quickly.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. Okay, let's see here. So, anyone that wants to call in and ask Darshini a question, usually I say like spiritual, even financial,
whatever.
Emotional, relationships, whatever.
Yeah.
You're here, as long as it's, and take advantage of it. And I would. Okay, so you're a guest speaker and a motivational speaker and teacher. Okay, a futurist consultant to the business sector. Now that's really interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I've got actually, I was thinking about this, and out of my clientele, about good 40% out of 100, obviously 60 is the personal one-on-one, I just want to know what's going on in my life, but 40% are business owners. And there are quite a few who consult with me on an ongoing basis. But obviously, something must be going right, because they keep on calling. But it is hard, because you're reading not only for the business person, but other associates with them. Whoever associates interacts with the business, put it that way. So that's kind of a cheat's way of getting through a business, but it's a good way because obviously you know what's coming.
Yeah.
So I really honestly believe, just like the predictions, it's used not to scare people, it's not to do sensationalism, cheap sensationalism, it's to be proactive. What can I do exactly? Wouldn't you like to know?
Yes.
And
Okay,
you know,
so
if you know
let's
there's a
slow down
potential
there.
problem.
What can I do? Let's say you give, something about the business but you want, they can be proactive.
Exactly.
What could they do?
It could be like somebody, I can't mention whom rather,
now we
but
wanna
basically,
know.
I know, yeah, the president of the company is going through some mental problems, put it that way, you know, obviously, you know, getting older. And I would say, well, you know, watch it. October, you better kind of either put your head down or be proactive enough to head off this problem that's coming down the road. Or, you know, you're a buyer, one of your clients you're going to be getting is going to, and these are actual things actually, that he's going to be very finicky. So if you're going to give a quote, you do all the details, give him the details. He's a cross the T, dot the I's, and make sure you lock the dog in it. Very, very exact. So this is how you deal with him. So, you know, you're giving way above what you're just going on and, oh, this is going to happen. It's not as, you know, all the details. How to actually talk to the person, interact with them.
So would it be good, like in our case here, someone calls in to, the more specific they are, is that good?
Yeah, well, not even, they don't need
Can it be vague, or-
to, no, but I'd like them to say, okay, I've got a problem with my business, and usually I know it's a business anyway,
Yes.
but, you know, this is happening, and I say, okay, well, this and this, has this happened, and this, and I usually go backwards, because that's the only way that they start listening, is with, they know we've connected.
Sure.
And that's another way of reconfirmation.
Yes.
So I go backwards and I said, okay, this and this happening.
Okay.
Yeah, and like this morning I had a rather frantic call, I'm afraid, of somebody who's dealing with a new business, and the same thing. Said, well, this happened in the last 2-3 weeks, and the timeline I'm pretty good, especially in the future too. So, you know, it gives them a good basis to work on and say, okay, if that happened, and and they don't tell me anything, I just pick it up, and then I said, okay, this is going to happen, this is a probability, but if you don't do this, that will happen.
Okay.
So it's not exactly a cascading effect, but it's more or less like domino effect.
And Darshini, where are you getting this information? Since
Dimensions.
you're not going through spirit guides, how would you explain that?
Okay.
And let me just again.
That's a good
give it a
question.
chance.
Wow, that's a darn good
That's
question.
the question, isn't it?
It is.
But I do want to invite everyone at this point, we're getting close to halfway through.
Yeah.
If you have
really?
a question that you'd like Darshini to answer, and give you some guidance and a little short reading, it has to be brief, and you can also contact her. The information's up, you know, for more, you know. But for right now, if you have a question, we'd love to have you call in. It's really interesting, believe me. Just because we're on TV, I mean, Spirit.
Yeah, they're all here.
They're all here.
Yeah, I know, they're all lining the room.
They are. They're all around. They're waiting. They say,
Yeah.
here we are.
I always say it when I do a lecture, Martha, that it's like a Ghost. You know the film Ghost?
Yes.
They're all, with Whoopi Goldberg, they're all
Yes.
around the room, and it's usually the mafia grandmothers who come in and push their way in and say, give them their message, give this message to so-and-so.
Oh, that's
Because
pretty
they're
good.
the pushy ones that
They
come
are,
in.
and the pushy ones on earth seem to be the pushy ones.
The mafias.
The
Mafia
shy
mothers.
ones are kind of,
I
you
know.
know. But anyway, go ahead with what we were just talking
Okay.
about.
But, you know, the question, that was a darn good question.
Yes.
And it is hard to actually explain, but basically, as I said, I read through energy, and energy is everything.
Yes.
You know, the Buddha, the tablecloth, you and I, we're just packaged differently. So what I do is I'm free of that energy, and I just literally, how I used to describe it when I was younger, was I put my radar on, and all I do is, okay, so I want to go backwards, so I just literally, I don't need to physically turn, but I just literally scan backwards. So it's like leaves of a folder, and I go drift through to the right folder, and it's not physically opening, but literally that energy is there, and it still exists. You think about a radio wave, and that's what it is. Radio waves still exist, don't they?
Yes, they do.
And that's how they're hoping to have UFOs and God knows things. But basically, that's energy going out. It doesn't change its form. The radio waves are still intact. So, as simple as that, that's how our lives are. And that's why I can go backwards, I can go forwards, I can remember readings from 9 years ago, even though I've done, I don't know how many thousands of readings. God knows, I don't know, I don't count them. But that's how, because it's packaged in a way. That doesn't change, but the future can, as you know.
Yes, so the future can. So we don't have to be, you know, slaves to the past.
Perfect.
Or in bondage to that, right? We
Oh,
can make
beautifully put, Martha.
And new choices, and sometimes it helps to see that. I've got to see the pattern of how we, you know, our choices that we've made, and that we can change that.
We're kind of the head knockers.
Yeah, like that.
You know, are you going to wake up, or are you going to knock on the head, squeeze the head? But basically, are you going to change, or you know, you got the option to? Don't. And I'm pretty harsh. Did you do this? Well, nothing happened that you told me. Well, did you do this? No. Did you do that? No. Well, don't come crying back to me.
Right, we have to do our part. It's not like something's going to come down and,
correct.
You know,
I'm going to win the lottery tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a growth. Yeah. Are you?
No, I don't think so.
I know. Okay. Well, let's go on here a little bit more. You are, you've had well over 200 free powerful lectures now, lessons, and on YouTube.
That's
You've
right.
got a lot of your lectures and so forth on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it's about 220. Actually, we're going to put this one on
Oh,
YouTube.
good. I'm going to watch it.
No, because I know that from the last show, people were saying they really had a lot of information. And my audience is well, obviously here in America it's a large majority, but Canada, Australia, I've got a huge amount. All the Nordics countries, England, but a lot of European, Latvia, don't ask me why, but a lot of the Russian states, and China doesn't let you know how many, but I know that China has a lot. But it's all over the place, but it's amazing how, you know, I'll put out something on a lecture like the information we just talked about. It'll be deeply appreciated. And they do email me privately, if not leave comments.
Really? Okay, good.
So that's what we're doing, is that you're helping them.
Yes, good. Well, I hope so. It's wonderful to be able to do that now.
Yeah,
you know, to just sit in the studio and
go global.
Go out and go globally in what you're doing. I mean, you just think of a few years back, that wasn't possible.
I know, it's amazing.
It's everywhere.
But, you know, and I really believe that the right people need to talk to you. They'll be in front of you, whether you like it or not.
They will. They'll be there. Okay, let's go on a little bit more now. What was this about? You have 86 classes in Southern California? 86 classes?
Yes.
But not all at one time.
No, I don't think so. I really have to duplicate myself.
Classes.
Well, actually, it really started with one class, but then on the next class I thought, well, vision boarding. You know, it's great to have a vision, but it's got all these other, not extraneous, but all these other ways of not controlling the end result. So really all what I call the transformational workshop, and it's really about 17 classes you have to take in sequence, and it's clearing. It's literally clearing one after the other.
What do you mean for some of our viewers by clearing?
Okay.
They come in and you say you want to do some clearing. What does that mean?
Okay, now each one is specific on certain aspects of your life. All right, one of the main first classes is called Mirror Mirror. Mirror Mirror is actually out of 85 the most powerful class.
Mirror Mirror?
On the wall.
Okay.
All right, and what it is for you, you're actually sent backwards in your life to very specific times in your life. And again, it all depends on who's in the room, but without exception, and all the time, every single class I've taught, every one of them has received incredible information, where you're basically a voyeur in your own life as of this age, and you're going backwards, and so your maturity is at this level, hopefully, and then you go backwards, and you get sent to maybe 2 years old, and you see who your parents really were, not what you think they were, but who they were. Or
You actually see it, see it objectively,
Exactly.
not like,
No, it's not jaundice, but
Traditional.
you understand why your parents were that way.
Oh, that's
Or
good.
if there was a bullying episode or an
Yeah.
episode where you didn't understand what something was going on, you're literally a voyeur, and the voyeur literally doesn't need to feel the pain. If you want to identify it, that's fine, but you shouldn't. But it enables you to see it correctly, and then close the door. And then you cut those ties and you move forward. And all, good 90%, 95% have said they've cleared their lives from that.
That's wonderful. And we obviously can't do all of that here, but just how do you get that to clear?
Well, it's just it's actually through their own actual interaction with that point that's holding them back, anchoring them. So the anchors are cut. They actually acknowledge what really happened. They come back and it's closed. So they need to, and actually I teach that class through the program, to all the classes, every 2 or 3 classes, because as you're debarking, as I call it, cleansing, you tend to want to go back and then clear out other things out of your closet. It's like your private trunk.
Yes, the more you clear, then you see other things that are there.
Yeah, it's a layering that we need to do, so they can move on from there.
What's your favorite class, Darshini? Do you have one? That's a good question.
Well, you know what?
Classes.
It could be Mirror Mirror, but you know what? It's the one that I did for you. It's called the Healing Touch Workshop, where I teach them literally in less than 3 hours to actually not only heal somebody else or yourself, but to actually see, what's wrong with a person.
Now, elaborate just a little.
Okay, say I teach them, you seem to actually be able to see where there's pain or there's a problem in somebody else's body. And we taught it actually at NBC.
Is that like X-ray vision?
Yes, kind of.
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
You can see inside.
And literally you can. And it's amazing. No, without exception, everybody has been able to do it. We taught a very great class at NBC4 studios in Reno.
Yeah.
And everybody, and that was a large class, got
They
it.
could actually develop that? Or
Yes, no, they, in 3 hours they've got it.
Wow.
And they take it home. But if you don't practice it, you lose it.
Like anything
You don't
else.
use it, yeah.
There's something about, I don't know what it is about things that are spiritual, like they're just going to, manifest.
Yes,
for no
exactly,
while.
no.
And we have to practice.
Exactly.
Like anything else.
Yeah, and it's very simple. And it's energy healing. It's not Reiki. It's not anything associated with those. It's just basic, because all my classes, any layman can do. And I'm not kidding. Nurses have taken it. Professionals have taken it. Presidents of companies, and just Joe Blow.
Yes.
But they all get it, and it's and that's one thing I like to keep in all the classes. Leave your title and your badge outside the door.
Yes.
No egos allowed.
Yes, just leave them out there. That's what I've heard this too. That when you leave, if you got to have it, you can pick it back
pack it up.
Hopefully you
Yeah.
won't, but
Otherwise, I will ask you not to come. I have actually 5 people from it, because you can't disrupt the person. It's not about just you. It's about everybody,
it's about
the collective.
everyone, yeah. Again, we're just like time's rolling on here. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask Darshini, she'll give you a little reading. Okay, and what did we say again? On almost any subject?
Any subject.
Any subject at all, if you'd like to ask that. Everyone's ready to pick up the phone, and Francine's going to take your question and pass it on to Darshini. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity. You can just sit right there in your home watching and hear this,
Yeah, I know.
You don't have to leave the house.
Yeah, I know. Just like the radio show we do, and the international radio show, they're calling in from all over the world.
Yes, yes.
And for the free readings.
Yeah, it is a free reading, a short free reading that you can get, and why not? I mean, and she's up here in Santa Barbara.
Yes, for today.
Not going to be here that long. Gotta do it. Gotta do it. Okay, let's go on a little bit more. This is really great. Okay. Oh, well, one more thing before I go on. You said next year there'll be the web classes on the YouTube.
Yeah,
You
I'm
wanna
trying
talk
to actually...
to everyone a little bit about
Yeah,
that?
I'm actually trying, Martha, to get all the classes, at least as, progression of the classes on a webinar, like, interactive.
Yes.
Not through Skype, obviously, but more like a webinar.
Okay.
So let's see if that'll work. So that globally, because a lot of people in France, I've got followers on my Facebook, they're all over the world, that, and they want it.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, thank you. I'm getting some people in the control room have some questions for you. I'm sorry. I got
Okay, that's
distracted.
fine, sure.
I thought we had a caller there, but that's okay.
Okay.
What some of our people want to hear, and we cut that off, was some of your predictions for 2014.
Okay.
Can we go there?
Sure. I was
Okay,
actually
let's go
just
there.
about to do a video on
Okay,
that,
good.
which I will expand later. But I will say 2012, I'm afraid, 98%, 95 to 98%, just reaching 100,000 views on that one video, but that nearly all came true, I'm
Of your
afraid.
predictions that
On
were
2012.
On 2012.
12
okay.
is 2013, and we were going to talk about this. 2013, I'm afraid, have already started coming true, like the late snowstorm in the end of May 31st, I did predict.
You did.
And also, actually just before that, I had 12, 21, 12, I predicted that it's going to be a lot of shootings, and unfortunately within 24 hours Newtown happened. So, I know that they sound kind of macabre and, all violence. I predicted 2 or 3 F5s.
Well, don't you think that, let
tornadoes.
me interrupt just a minute, some of that, like, I knew a person, some mediums that had seen 9/11 happening, but they were not able to call and say anything and just think they're crazy.
Yeah.
Tried to call and report it, it's like some nut saying that,
Yeah, or you'll,
we gotta get past
yeah,
that.
the FBI will be on your tail saying,
Yes.
how did you
Oh,
know it?
Yeah, how did, exactly, that's
No.
a good point, where people.
It is, because I
that's a good
have
point.
said that there was, as I said, people saying, oh, F5s, are you crazy? There's only 1 or 2.
Uh-huh.
And I said, no, 1 every few years. And I said, no, there's going to be 2 or 3 F5s. So, and what happened in the same area, 2 F5s, F4s. I think there were 19 F4s.
Really?
This so far, in the tornado season. 2 or 3 2 F5s, which are catastrophic, obviously.
Right.
There's more coming, I'm afraid.
Mm.
Hurricanes, all these are the predictions. So that's this year. But and the high heat, still record breaking. And I said there's floods, which
Yes.
have been happening.
Yes.
Canada, I know they've been kind of closely watching what I've put out. But 2014, let's get to that. I hate to say it, that we are going to, and it sounds weird, but we're going to have more freakish weather. The tornadoes will be a bit on the, how can I say, the devastation kind. F3, F2s and F3s will be quite upping the stakes. There will be, I'm afraid, more F5s that I see.
Do you get a general idea of where they are?
I'm afraid it will be from more or less the Midwest, which is Colorado. Usually I have a map, but
Yes.
Colorado onwards for the Midwest and that kind of high sector there, the top Midwest states. But as I said about 3 years ago, the tornado corridor is expanding more to the East Coast, and that's why they're experiencing even tornadoes in like Pennsylvania or hurricane, things like that. So it is expanded. So I'm afraid the weather is getting more, how can I say, intense. I'm afraid, unfortunately.
Okay, so we have Jeff on the phone. Are we ready?
Sure.
Yeah, Jeff, are you there? Hello, Jeff? Hello, Jeff? We'll get you there in just a second. Don't give up.
Maybe he's in spirit. He's trying to get through.
That'd be pretty good. All right, is Jeff there? Okay, may take us just a minute to get you on there.
Okay.
But we will get you.
Okay.
So we'll continue to talk
join
without
2014.
signaling you. Yeah,
That's
as soon as we get you out.
Sure.
Okay.
And we talked about also on the predictions, and they're all up there in the YouTube if they want to check me.
Okay.
But basically, I said that the riots on against government is going to increase, and this is for the last 2-3 years. And what have we got? Egypt and Syria. I mean, all over the world, they're actually protesting. So that is going to actually be not so much more violent, but more underground, if in certain countries, Iran, Iraq, and the Arab states, and then it'll really progress next year. But I'm seeing it after May next year. And I will be doing a full 2014 predictions video later.
Okay.
But I really, don't want to have people worrying about things. The economy,
so that's a good point.
Yeah, and it is.
Worrying. Yeah.
And the economy is it is getting better, I did say, but it's not as if it's, people take it, oh yes, the whole economy, well, I haven't got a job. It's not the microcosm.
Right.
It's about the whole economy. It is, it's getting a teeny bit better, but it's getting better.
It's getting better.
And you have to look at that point.
Yes.
So people shouldn't, there's a lot on phase 5, which I talked about.
Yes.
Phase 5 is a sequence from phase 1, 2, 3, 4. We're into phase 5 now. And phase 5, a lot of people are not only suicidal, I hate to say it, and it's sad to say it that way, but basically people are going up against, there were certain symptoms of phase 5 where they're either having law issues. Like in the last week and a half, I've had 4 clients have issues with probate, and with people who have passed on, and the wills are just a mess, and family. So it's illegal issues. People are so depressed and in massive depression and feeling as if they have nowhere to turn. But it's part of what I call squeezing the head, that they have to learn to start operating outside their norm, start thinking more creatively about addressing their problems.
Okay.
And they're probably saying, well, I can't do that, how can I? Because you're so stuck in a groove that they can't move out of it. And that is what is really hard, because they only think one way. They have to think more creatively outside.
Yes,
so out of that. So we'll see.
Okay.
That's only some of the symptoms of phase 5. So,
phase 5.
I know, and we're coming into phase 6. This is all part of that video I'll be putting out later, after yours.
And so, people can get hold of you again with the graphics that are coming up, and get on your website and email, and not email, but find out about when that's all coming out.
Yes,
and
they can join the email list for the book and everything.
Right.
So
we've got Jeff, financially spiritual for the next year. Financial. I think we're having maybe a little problem getting the phones up. Maybe we could bring in Mark or someone to help with that. So it's about his finance. And
Jeff. I would like some confirmation, but we obviously can't do it. But
we'll try to get the
Jeff, I'm seeing that for the last 5 months, and you can email me if this is true. But basically, last 5 months have been more intense than normal. I think you do tend to, no offense, this is the honesty here, you see the tree instead of the forest, and you obsess about certain shortcomings. I know that it's been hard though since February. February has been more, not catastrophic, but tightening on all his finances. So because of that, you've been kind of drained of certain financial security. But I will say, now having said on the past, which is important, please let the crew know if that's true. But also that if you, I hate to say it, it's going to continue, and I'm going forward now, I'm just scanning the future, but I'm seeing that for the next 6-7 weeks, and it really is going to start getting better. You may not think it, but there is something else coming to you, either an extra job or a chance to open, not a business or side something to get extra money. But at the nearly the last week of September, by October, round about mid-October to the 24th, you will really feel as if you're getting a grasp on your finances. The real financial security comes by next May, where you're really empowered. You seem to be doing a creative project which nobody believes in except you. So, tell them if you're still on the line if that's true or not. but basically you'll see a lot of things coming to you. Plus some other nice surprises in February.
Really?
Yes, but I
That's
can't
nice.
say that on camera. So I think, it's some really lovely changes, but it's just that you're going through what I call a debarking. You're changing your life, and you really have a great creative mind, but you haven't been able to trust it due to certain issues, I feel, Jeffrey, from your childhood. So let them go. You are not that person. You're this incredibly creative person, and I'm sure you're going to be fine.
That's right. Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Yeah. Thank you, Darshini, and thank you for calling in, Jeff. Sorry we couldn't get you on the air. We're in the process of trying to get the phones up, but
That's okay. We got one.
Yeah, so be sure to feel free to call, and we'll try to get you on the air. But if it takes a little while, we can tell Francine what your question is, and she'll let you know, and Darshini will answer. So
Sure.
great. Well, wow. How do we? I mean, you were talking about what he was, or how he thinks he was as a child.
Yes.
And how do you see that affecting the
See how quick that
spiritually?
is, because
Yes.
what you're doing is just rebounding backwards. So literally, it's like, and that why I don't look at people is because I'm literally scanning, and it either in pictures or in motion, because being the claircognitive, you get everything. So it's like a downloaded full DVD, as if you're sitting with all the senses. So I feel that there was a lot of frustration there for him, and kind of a dominant, I won't mention who it is, but a very dominant parent. And we tend to try and control people. They don't even know they're doing it, but that parenting has changed a lot. But and he's an incredibly sensitive guy, this Jeffrey. So that's why there again the clear senses come in. But when you start picking up that, you have all the nuances in a reading.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly accurate, but hopefully you get to talk to all of them that way.
Okay. Well, that's wonderful. He's getting everybody's
Get more.
watching. He's getting more.
Yeah.
So the phones are down. Or not phones are down, but we're not getting a direct line there.
Sure.
But we're working on it. That's great. Wow. So we got to move past, our old perceptions issues or conceptions of. Okay. So we got Michael has a financial and spiritual. Also,
Okay.
Michael also has a financial and spiritual.
Do you know Jeffrey?
For the next year. Yeah. And even though the phones aren't up, hey, we're taking your calls, and there she is.
Yes,
Good.
okay. Michael, actually, you've got a naughty sense of humour, I will say that. Quite devilish, in a good way. Sorry, but that comes in a great sense of humour, but you hide it, Michael, because you're incredibly, how can I say this? And this is where it goes crazy, because they're giving to me in taste. But give me a second. That's the only time I hesitate, because I have to convert it.
Let's get our camera over on Darshini. It's on me. And
No,
see.
that's
You're the one
okay.
giving it.
No,
But
no.
Go ahead with what you said.
It's
about the
basically
taste.
because you have to change the taste. So,
Okay.
Michael, what I'm saying is that even though you're an incredible extrovert, and please tell them in the booth, you're a very creative and an extrovert. Sometimes you can a bit too much diverse. You can be in about 12 to 18 projects when you only have to you've got 3 projects that are really, really good, but you need to stick with it. You don't, I feel, outside to other people, you're very, very extrovert and very confident. But within yourself, Michael, I really feel that it has not kind of a backlash, but sometimes you don't trust yourself on that. So please, I'm telling you, you will be okay. Again, you've been really fighting financial, not problems, but how can I say this? Financial challenges is a good way. Yeah, challenges. And that has been since last May, on and off. But again, you want more security. Security in all kinds of areas. But you know what? Sometimes you're bad and you spend too much on the wrong things. And you know what I mean. I'm not going to say it on camera. So in other words, we do tend to Okay, we're going another call, so I'll hurry up. But
Yes.
basically, your finances by December will be good. You may want to look at another job too. I do see you maybe even starting a new job at the end of November. But it is a far more empowered. You're going through a huge shift again, but by the end of October, really by December, you'll be completing that shift. But start looking around and look at the skills. There's a quick video, and if you want to email me, Radio 404 on the channel, a video. It'll give you a lineup of what you have, what skills you have, and what talents you have, and it'll help you. Best of luck, Michael.
Thank you, Michael, for calling Let's Connect and talking with us and asking Darshini. Wonderful information there. I believe we have another caller now, Julie. I don't know if the sound is up here yet or not. Are you there, Julie?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Great,
Well,
Julie.
we've got 8 minutes.
Great, okay.
Okay,
Hi.
Julie, what is your question?
Oh, I was wondering if I would be able to find housing within the next 2 months.
Find housing. Okay, Darshini?
Okay. Have you been really in transition since about May, end of May? Things have been not being...
No,
What, sorry?
no.
Okay, I'm not talking about on the streets or anything, but have you been looking, or there's been some kind of change since May in your life?
Oh, yes, definitely, May.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Haha, caught you.
Got it.
Yeah. So basically, that's why you really, even though you want housing or at least a situation, you've really not made. It's like saying this, and I hope you're seeing the camera. Okay, I do really want housing, but in other words, you really don't. You're not in that position yet. You've been in a whole year and a half of change in your life. A lot of things have been changing in your life. Is that true, Julie?
Oh, yes, very much so.
Okay, and that indicates that again, I mean, all these callers are coming in, but basically, Julie, because you are literally sloughing off the old, but sometimes you tend to be a bit stubborn about things. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, and you need to let go of the past. And it seems it's anchoring you. You want security, but it's the wrong kind of security from where you are now. You've really taken a lot of layers. You've taken some risks this year in June that you never would have done before. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so what you're doing is actually stepping the game up. And you're stepping outside your own life in a way, your security blanket. And it's scary, Julie, but you've got incredible guts on it. So anyway, what I'd like to do is to really go ahead. Your housing situation is going to be in transit for at least another 5-6 weeks, because until you decide, it's like focusing a lens. Okay, you're still in fuzz point. In other words, you're still out of focus. But until you decide what you really want, and you're really fighting it, I see. It's not as if you're saying to yourself you don't deserve it, but you feel very even insecure. You're just not too sure. You don't feel you can trust your decisions, but you will by about actually it starts in September. By October, you're in this marvelous place, incredible place. And it's only because it has to be in your heart. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay, it's aligning with your heart. And it's not the circumstance, it's not the color of the house or what the position or the street. It's literally when you feel right in your heart, you'll be home. Is that right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so after that, by the way, December is going to be a fantastic month for you on all kinds of levels. But be careful what you ask for. There's a thing called a candle lesson that we didn't go into, but we will maybe later, or you can go and check it out. It's an incredible, and your color is like a red. It's like a pinky red, like a maroon color, crimson really, but just a red candle, 99 cents. And if you follow the candle lesson, I've seen miracles.
That's what I have is a 99-cent candle.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah, I got it at the 99-cent store.
Yeah, good. See, that's where your guides have brought you here. So hopefully that will help you. Okay. Best of luck, Julie.
Okay, thank you.
And
All
thank
right,
you,
bye.
Julie, for calling.
Thank you.
for
You're
coming in,
welcome.
and
Bye.
for calling in, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. All right,
Okay.
we're down to about 3 minutes now.
Wow,
Can you believe
that was fast.
I wanted 3 minutes. I want to take 1 minute before we mention anything else.
This
and-
is gorgeous.
And thank Daryl again
Oh
for
my
this
gosh,
beautiful painting. He's very exceptional. You know, it's an
Talented.
interesting story, because Daryl is left-handed, and then he had an accident and he lost his left arm, and he just transferred it all over to the right hand.
But look at
A few
this.
months later, everything was recognizable that it was him. So it's very interesting
How the brain,
Yes, how
and that's
that
what
is.
they talk about stroke victims.
Yes.
People don't understand that you can regrow.
You can
retrain
yes.
and
Imagine
regrow.
painting like
That, I was just looking at it
Yeah, it's just
before you
amazing.
go ahead.
This is
It's absolutely gorgeous.
It's great. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. And anyway, we've just got 2 minutes left. And Darshini, I just want to thank you. I'm sorry about the trouble with the phones. We could have had more
Yeah.
interaction on the air, but
Hoped a few more.
sometimes that can happen. And those were really wonderful answers. And I hope Jeff and Michael that you answered
Hopefully correctly.
yes. And that's good. I remember when I was first learning to do messages, my teacher said, now, Martha, I want you to give this person a message, because she doesn't give any response on her face.
Oh.
It's not like, you know.
Yeah, you can read it.
Yeah. It just had to really do it.
Yeah.
But that's wonderful.
Yeah,
And,
it's nice to get confirmation though.
It is
that,
good. Oh, yeah.
That's
and
why.
we did, but at that
Yeah.
point, it was really good to just step out there.
Yeah.
But again, you can contact Darshini. The information's there. It's coming back up. And thank you so much for
Oh,
coming.
thank you, Martha.
I
It's
hope you
as
enjoy
always.
it.
Oh, joy.
Isn't it
It's
wonderful?
always a pure pleasure.
It is. To just
Seriously.
be able to be on the air and talk about these
Yeah,
things
help a
too.
few people.
Help a few
And
people.
you do an incredible job, Martha.
Well, thank you. This will re-air several times during the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Even though you won't be able to talk to Darshini
Sorry.
live.
Missed the
You've got the
chance.
information if you want to contact her. Yeah. Yeah, so we'll be on there, and
Lovely.
I hope we'll have you back before too long. I don't even think I got through the rest of this description.
Oh, it doesn't.
So.
But
we'll have
anyway,
to
but
do
that was the pure pleasure, the whole
Yes,
thing.
it's wonderful. Thank you
Yeah.
for bringing Jim as well.
Yeah.
There's just nice energy over there in
Yeah.
the corner. Not the corner, over there. That's really wonderful.
Oh.
But anyway, I hope that your trip back and everything going for you now in your classes are going to even bloom and succeed
Oh,
in a
no,
greater way
thank you.
coming up. And this,
You're
there's so
such a
much.
blessing,
Oh,
honestly,
thank
Mom.
you.
And
Well, so
she's
are you.
incredible on your Facebook, by the way.
Oh, thank you.